simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I'm your host, Webby. Joining me tonight, we got Devin.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? I'm Devin.
And we got Rob.
Hey, guys. It's Rob.
This week, we're going to be talking about Fear Street Part 2, which came out on last Friday.
It did.
I'm glad. So, obviously, spoilers if you haven't seen it or if you plan on watching it and you haven't yet, do all the things. I'm glad they didn't just jump straight into the camp stuff and they actually, still showed, oh, what happened last time and things like that, and showed how the two stories do connect. But why don't you tell us a bit of how the story starts off?
Well, it starts off basically at the end of the last one, where it shows the lady that they called, the one who survived from the camp, and she's at home. She's got everything weirdly labeled. Her calendar has 4,000 or something days written on it.
I think it's 5,300 and something.
And she's feeding her dog, and she hears a noise, and then people are looking in through the windows. She goes and she puts her dog in the closet, and then she basically goes into attack mode, and someone climbs in through the window. She attacks them and throws them in the kitchen. It turns out to be the girl from first movie, who is coming to get help for the now possessed girl. Her and her brother come in, and they try to convince her to help. She doesn't want to at first, but I don't remember what she says to get her to agree to tell them the story. Just that they weren't going to leave the girl possessed and run off like she suggested. So she has them come in. They chain up. What the hell's her name? Sarah? Sam to the bathroom grate, and then she starts to tell them the story of what happened at the camp.
Yeah, it's like one of those old school radiators that you'd see in the bathroom, like a heater.
Yeah.
First takeaway from all the scenes here: the lady's got a lot of alarm clocks.
Yeah, she has one for every event throughout the day. When one alarm goes off, that's dinner time. When another one goes off, she checks the locks on the house.
Yeah, and one was for feeding the dog. She has a label maker label on each clock to show what it means. They didn't really explain what that was about.
I don't know. She probably doesn't sleep very much.
Probably not.
I feel her pain. Alright, so then she sits down and she starts kind of recounting the story to these kids about what happened at Camp Nightwing. Devin, how about you take it on now?
Yeah. She starts looking at Nightwing. We see the chick from Stranger Things.
That's where I know
chased through the woods.
Yeah, alright. I was wondering why she looked so familiar.
Stranger Things Season 2. It's not Elle, it's the redhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we see chick from Stranger Things. She's getting chased through the forest by a bunch of chicks at this spot. At the camp, obviously. She's getting chased around with the chicks. They're saying she's possessed by the witch and, whatever. They're all kind of being assholes about everything. But, yeah, I mean, that's what happens. One of the guys. There's one guy there, too. Yeah, she chases the forest. One of the guys come basically step out from behind a tree and clothesline the shit out of her. Which, first off, rude, can I just say.
It was a gnarly clothesline.
It was. Very gnarly clothesline. Very, very gnarly clothesline. Yeah, so she gets clotheslined. Once she gets clotheslined, she's kind of out for the count. She wakes up tied to the tree where they supposedly hung Sarah Fierce? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Sarah Fierce, who's the witch, who's kind of like the witch that's been tormenting them throughout both movies at this point. Then one of the girls is kind of like borderline psycho, like she asks for like a lighter. Well, girl kicked her, I think she headbutt her? Or elbow in the face or something like that. Anyway, she winds up hitting her in the face. Then when she winds up hitting her in the face, the girl starts bleeding, and she's like, "We're even now." And then it was because they said that she stole money from them. She says she did. We never really got closure on if she did steal the money or not. We don't really know. But yeah, so she wanted to take a lighter, and then there's in every like scene like this, there's always that one person that takes things too far, and everybody's kind of like, "Are we okay with this? Like collectively, we cool with this?" So then she starts like lighting her on fire. She starts like burning her under her arm. She holds a lighter to her, starts burning her arm, and not cool, by the way. And then right when that happens, young sheriff steps in the scene. We get young sheriff and his brother, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I was confused. Were both of them like? I know the one that was holding the girl's feet that did the clothesline was his brother because he says to him, "I'll tell mom." But is the blonde one also his brother? Like, does he have two brothers? I wasn't sure.
I think he does. I think all three of them are brothers. I think.
Okay.
I think that's the way it looks like. One second, sorry. So yeah, so he comes up. Basically, sheriff saves the day. We find out from that scene, you kind of can tell, like a little bit, like right after that scene, you kind of can tell that sheriff got a little bit of a crush on. What is that chick's name? They call her Ziggy. But her name is. What?
I think it's like Christine or something like that.
It is Christine. Yeah, so Ziggy, he has a crush on Ziggy. He tries to get close to her. She's just kind of standoffish and kind of just like, fuck this place. Like, everybody's kind of like, the camp, even the camp has like the weird vibe of like this town versus this town, to what, Shady Side versus
Sunnyvale.
Yeah. Shady Side versus Sunnyvale, like it's this is a weird like area. Like I feel like it's the only two spots that exist in this world, but that's okay. But yeah, so we have like this weird camp dynamic going on there. So I think the sheriff's from Sunnyside, right?
Well,
yeah,
Sunnyvale, yeah.
Sunnyvale, but isn't he the sheriff of Shady?
No, the sheriff department covers both towns, but it's based in Sunnyvale.
Gotcha. Okay, I was like, isn't he the sheriff? I'm like, did he go against his father? Do we have character development here? Did he go against his father and go to the other town to be their sheriff instead? That'd be kind of funny. But anyway, all right. So yeah, so we have that happening. I think after that, let me try to think. Burn her. Then it cuts to her sister. It cuts to her sister and her boyfriend, and they're cleaning the outhouse. I'm guessing this is like the beginning of camp. Like camp just started, so like they're still getting stuff ready. That's what it kind of looks like to me.
Well,
I don't know if you guys got that same vibe.
I don't know, because they said that the other girl had gotten into trouble like 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
I feel like this. I feel like this might be like the culmination of camp, and they're leading up to like the big like. Some sort of big camp event where like all the parents and stuff come too.
Yeah, that might be a thing. For whatever reason, they're cleaning the bathroom, the stalls there for whatever reason or another. it's either the beginning of camp, but like you said, they said she's got in trouble, or like it's or they just never cleaned the bathroom for whatever reason, or because they did say that she graffitied the bathroom, so I don't know if they're cleaning it up. I feel like they would just make her clean it up. So I'm like, I don't really know how that worked out. But anyway, they're cleaning that, and then like her and her boyfriend, they started like having a conversation. They started making out for a minute, and then like out of nowhere, like she like stops making out with him. She starts opening up the bathroom stalls, like if there's two people in there. There's going to be someone in there. Like she just completely ignored them. And she opens the stall. She's like, "Where are they?" And then it cuts to, I guess, two people who were supposed to be helping them out. The other two camp counselors, and they were having sex.
Yeah. Also, the bathroom, there was graffiti all over the bathroom, but that's not what they were cleaning up. The weird red moss that was growing everywhere is what they were cleaning.
Yeah.
Because that foreshadows later on.
Yes. Yeah, so it cuts to people having sex. She walks in there and she's like, "What the hell?" And at first she's kind of taken aback because I guess her friends are just having sex. She's like, "Oh my god!" Well, her ex-friend's now camp counselor or whatever, and she's kind of like taken aback because she's the innocent girl. And they fastest dress ever, like because the guy was clearly did not have pants on.
Yeah.
And then like they cut back and then cut back on, and they both had pants on, and I was like, I feel like that was a very fast time to get dressed. I feel like a lot of like that was like world record levels of like speed. But anyway, so guy trying to get dressed. Guy gets dressed after all that fun. After that, basically they have a little conversation. Girl lights up a joint. 1 second here. Girl lights up a joint, starts smoking it. She's all like, "Oh my god, what are you doing? You can't do that." And then basically she walks out. They have their argument. She walks out and walks into the camp counselor. Like I guess he's like the head counselor. I guess he seems to be the one like calling a lot of the shots.
Yeah, the sheriff's brother we've established that.
Yeah. He just seems like the head counselor. He's the one calling a lot of the shots. But so he kind of like steps out, and then she steps out, runs into him, and then he smells marijuana, and he has a hatred for marijuana. Apparently, he gets very offensive about marijuana.
Yep.
He's all like, "That better be skunk I'm smelling," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is. It's 100% skunk." Yep, that's what it is. But yeah, so that happens. She runs into him. They're doing that.
The
And then after that, the sister goes to the nurse to get ready, and the nurse starts acting a little weird. She can't find her at first. She finds some stuff about the witch. Can't find her at first, and then the nurse finds her, and then she starts asking her about something about her daughter, or her daughter gets brought up. And then she starts wrapping her arm like tighter and tighter while she's like telling her people kill people for good reasons and shit. Not necessarily a good thing. Then basically she snaps out of it. She gives her medicine and she kind of like leaves. She's like, "That's weird." And then she runs into her sister, who's all pissed off because her sister is. If she's like, "If you get kicked out of camp, I get kicked out of camp, and I'm trying to get out of this town, so I need to save up money." Blah 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 blah, kind of thing. And she asks her about the nurse, and then she kind of blows her off. And then it cuts to the sister. Again, the older sister and the boyfriend again, and they're cleaning up the cafeteria area, the mess hall. And Webby, can you take it there because I got to step away for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
So she's scrubbing the floor. Was it a sponge? It seemed awfully hard. It's like
Yeah, I think it was like an industrial like scrubbing sponge.
Yeah. But she kept scrubbing harder and harder and harder because she was getting more and more frustrated with talking about her sister and just everything. And she ended up tearing the sponge in half, and then going to get a new one. And then when she came back, she saw the knife drawer open, so she closed it. And then she walks back out, and her boyfriend wasn't there, but she turned around and he was behind her. And then the nurse came in and spouting some nonsense. Like, it seems like the nurse just went crazy. And then attacked the boyfriend, tried to stab him.
She said something about seeing his name on the wall and that he was going to die tonight either way, so she had to stop him.
Yeah. And then they wrestled on the floor for a little while, and then he kicked her off, and like she hit like her neck on the bench, and I guess he hit like the back of her head, like the back of his head on something, because he was bleeding from the back of the head a little bit. And then pretty much throughout the rest of the day, he was kind of like,
in a daze, I guess. Like
yeah,
out of it, kind of.
yeah, almost like in thought over this whole thing. And it progressively got worse and worse.
Yeah, like at first when people would talk to him, he would respond normally and almost like, "Oh, I wasn't paying attention. What'd you say?" kind of thing. And then it kept getting worse and worse.
So throughout the whole day, they start promoting this color war thing, where the Sunny Veilers get to wear red shirts, and then the Shady Siders wear blue, and then they have a big capture the flag game that evening. And then in the evening, just after the capture the flag game starts, the two friends who were into drugs, who wanted the preppy girl to go get some drugs for them from the nurse's office or whatever. They all end up going back to the nurse's office, and they find some books because the nurse got arrested. And at this point, the sister wanted to know why, because she didn't seem crazy.
Everyone keeps saying it's the witch, but she doesn't believe in the witch. So she's like, "There's got to be some kind of explanation."
Right. So they all get back into the nurse's office. The preppy girl has like an unlabeled bottle of pills, and she finds the book. And I think her name's Alice is the friend, the female friend's name, the one who ends up getting hurt.
Yeah, Alice.
She flips through the book and she's reading a bunch of it, and then she shows a map, and they figure, oh, this must be the witch's house. So then they take off. They take the book. They take the.
Well, they see where she marked all the X's, and they're like, "What? Where's she marking?" And that's what she's like. Let's go find out.
Yeah.
So they head off towards the X's.
They take her purse and the pills. God, my throat hurts. And they all just kind of like go trudging out into the woods, along with the preppy girl and what was his name? Tom. Slater.
Yeah.
The really dazed out dude. Anyway, they get out in the middle of nowhere, and they find like a bunch of graves that have been dug up, or being in the process of being dug, I guess. And then Alice finds like this one, I guess.
Well, she finds the witch's house, like what's left of it, and then they find like a cellar that goes underneath it.
Yeah, like a cellar. It was weird though, because it was almost like it was a pit, and then like a little crawl space for a cellar, but there were no like storm doors or anything. But it was different because it was like cobblestone. It wasn't just earth dug up. Anyway, they go into the cellar. They find all sorts of weird shit. They find the big marking that's drawn in the book on the center of the floor in another room. Tom and the other guy stay in the first room of the cellar, while the two girls go and look at the other one. And then when they come back, the other guy had been trying to get Tom to come out of like his little daze. He'd just been sitting there staring off into nothing. And then eventually he stands up and grabs an axe and just axes this guy in the face twice.
Yeah, he starts doing his best Jason impersonation.
Yeah. And then he immediately turns on the girls and starts chasing them. And then they go through like this little secret passage that the one preppy girl found behind the bookshelf. And then there was like a cave-in.
Yeah, it collapsed.
Well, he grabs her. Yeah, he grabs her, and then he starts kicking her, or she starts kicking him. Sorry. And then she like kicks him into like he hits like the side of one of the rocks, and it's like I guess like loose rocks or whatever, like part way through there, and then it starts to trigger, and things start. Yeah, it does got cave in between them two to cut them off from him.
Yeah. So then it's the preppy girl and the Alice girl down there, and they're lost for a little while until they realize that the drawing in the book is essentially a map of the cave system below this house. And so they start following it as if it were a map. And they come across like this big heart-looking thing that's just pulsing. And all the while, Tom is just slowly working his way through the camp, killing all the Shady Siders. He's not attacking any of the Sunnyvalers.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was weird because in the first movie they killed the Sunnyvalers too. In this one, they seemed to only like injure them to get them out of the way, and then went for the Shady Siders. But they out and out killed Sunnyvalers in the first movie, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Eventually, they find a bunch of that red moss stuff, and the preppy girl's like, "Hey, this moss stuff, I've seen this somewhere else." And then they start looking, and like they end up smelling shit, and they realize that the cave system comes up and out of one of the toilets in the outhouse. We missed the section where the younger sister, Ziggy, and the future sheriff play a prank on one of the other girls with bugs, but eventually ends up locking her in the outhouse for the night, and then Ziggy has to go back and find her, and then they fight for a little while, and she just throws her like a mean left hook and knocks her ass out.
And that's when... Where is that... Rob, you may know. That the other camp counselor, I think it was Jordy. Where have I seen him before?
The one that was in the bathroom with Ziggy? Or...
No, the one that played Gary. The one with like the New Year camp counselor with like the long hair.
Yeah, he was in the bathroom.
Yeah, he was in the bathroom with Ziggy.
And then he ends up getting his head chopped off and falls down the toilet into the cave.
Ah, he's a kid in Halloween. In the new Halloween remake, but the newer one. He's the one that he's like the friend of the guy and the girl, the main girl, her boyfriend. He's like their friend, and then at the party, he gets drunk and tries to pick her up, and then he's the one that gets impaled on the fence. Yeah,
I don't remember any of this.
In the new Halloween, in the 2018 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the friend who gets in like the devil costume that gets impaled on the fence.
All right.
I'm like, I know I've seen him in something before. Like what? I don't know.
All right.
He's also in Stranger Things, but he's like a second. He's like in Stranger Things for like a second. I don't think he's like a. He is billed in Stranger Things as sweaty teen boy.
Well, okay.
There you go. Let me see. There's a slash behind sweaty teen boy, so I'm trying to see if there's a does he get more credit besides sweaty teen boy. Sweaty teen boy. Drunk teen number 2. There you go. He's sweaty teen boy, drunk teen number 2. There you go.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, Tommy Boy over here is just cutting his way through the camp.
He kills the nerdy kid with the glasses, and that's what everyone eventually finds him, and then they all start to panic.
Yep. And then he kills the 3 that were being jailed by the Sunnyvaler.
Yep.
He tries to kill the sister, Ziggy. But the sheriff guy like kind of jumps in the way and takes an axe to the leg, allowing Ziggy to run. And then
but that's where you kind of notice the most that he doesn't go after this, like because he takes an axe to the leg and then he's laying right in front of him, but he leaves him to go chase Ziggy. So it's like, okay, he only wants the Shady Siders, clearly.
Yeah. In any case, the preppy girl and Alice down in the caves realize there must be another way up because of this wording in this book that there must be a way up in the mess hall. And so Alice tells the preppy girl to go ahead and just go without her. She's just gonna slow her down because she like had a broken leg or something. And
Yeah, because she touched the heart, and it showed her like all the murders that the witch had done, and she was like running through the cave screaming.
yeah,
She kept running into like eyeless people everywhere,
yeah.
and then she tripped over a rock and like broke her ankle. Like the bone came out of her leg.
No, I mean, valuable lesson. Don't go touching, breathing organic masses in the middle of a cave.
I mean, true. Not unless you're gonna plunge something into it and hope that works.
I mean, that's what I would have. As soon as I saw that thing, I'd be like, "This needs to die."
All right,
It's the heart. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it with fire.
Rob, why don't you pick up from there real quick?
So then they found that the cave came out in the bathroom, and Alice had gone to rescue the girl that she locked in the bathroom. Girl that she locked in the bathroom doesn't know there's a crazy axe murderer running around, starts fighting with her. She's like, "I'm trying to save your life, asshole."
Well, right before when she goes to leave, we cut to, I think, isn't that when we cut to the other counselor and the sheriff brother guy having sex?
Yes, which you got to see the sheriff's brother's ass, and it was very nice.
Yes, his ass, and you got just the smallest hint, just the smallest hint of ball sack there. It is right there in the back.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, no, you got the ass of that guy, and then he like nonchalantly walks away. He's taking a shower, and then she lights up a joint. He's all like, "Hey, I smell that shit from in here.
Cut that out." It's like
again,
fine.
he's like very against marijuana. Like he's
like, you guys don't know what you're missing.
He is the poster boy for anti-smoking campaigns everywhere. He is the reason why the DARE program was invented. He's just like, yo, put that out. Hey, great. I love how he's like casually okay with like one of the girls like almost setting her on the other girl on fire. He's just like, I'll deal with that later. But like marijuana is, oh no, like this needs to be dealt with immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, put that shit out, and then she puts it out, and she's just wandering around the camp, and then that's when she fucking finds an axe to the face.
Yes, Tommy breaks in, kills just her while the other guy's in the shower, and then leaves because he's only after the Shadysiders. So then you come back, and Alice is fighting with that girl. She gives her an elbow to the face and knocks her out. So then the other counselor comes in, like I said, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on in here?" And before she can answer, they hear yelling, and they're like, "Do you hear that?" So they open the toilet, and they see Alice and Cindy down in the hole, and they're like, "Hey, can you get us out of here?" So she used the rope and the bucket that she used to pour bugs on the girl in the toilet, and she lowers it down. Her and the other counselor are pulling them up, but then Tommy shows up, chops off the counselor's head, and Ziggy manages to get away.
That rope held, not gonna lie.
I know. But the guy's body falls and onto Alice's broken leg, making it worse, and he has no head, and they're down there screaming, but Ziggy manages to get away. So that happened before, because then the sheriff finds her, and that's when he helps her escape after taking an axe to the leg. So that happens at that point. And then so they figure out that part of the diary they had found said that she came up near the courthouse, the witch. So they're like, oh, there must be another way out. So they end up finding a way out that leads underneath the mess hall. But there's a grate, so Cindy is kicking at it to try to get it out while Ziggy's being chased through the mess hall by Tommy. So there's like kind of this race for her to get through the grate while Tommy's chopping at a door to get at Ziggy. So then eventually he does chop through. You think she's behind that door, but she's not. She's actually in one of the supply closets. And she had turned down the music really loud so he couldn't hear her breathing or walking. So he passes by the supply closet looking for her. She comes out and starts creeping up to him with a knife. But then the music goes out, so he realizes she's there and turns around, but she still stabs him right in the chest, which makes him drop the axe, but then he's like strangling her. But then Cindy arrives just in time with a knife of her own and stabs him a bunch and basically kills him. So then the two of them are talking, and Cindy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't been around. I've been in my own little world or whatever. I didn't really I wasn't paying attention to you and what you were saying and whatever." So they make up. But then they hear a noise coming from the grate underneath. But then it happens to be Alice just like squirming her way on her broken leg. So they help her up. Oh, and she started bleeding when she was down in the cave waiting for Cindy. And she realizes that the book said something about when you're near the witch's remains, blood will flow. So she looks around and ends up finding the witch's hand down in the caves. So she brings that up with her. And they realize that the curse would be broken if they reunited the hand with the body, supposedly. So they decide to try to do that. But then, like you see in the cave, the heart starts to beat like rapidly. So the witch realizes what they're trying to do. And then all the names in the cave start to bleed. So as they're about to leave, they tell Alice that she should stay behind because of her broken leg. And she's like, "No, fuck that. I found the hand. I want revenge from my boyfriend. I'm going with you." She's like, "Let me be a part of this." So then they agree. But then they start screaming because the guy, the axe murderer, Tommy, is back up. And he takes an axe to Alice's chest, and she falls over. And then freaking Cindy goes nuts with the shovel and starts hitting him with the shovel and chops his head off with it. But then they hear a noise, and the other killers start climbing out of the hole that Cindy came out of, or that Cindy and Alice had come out of. So they start to try and run, and the headless body of Tommy tries to grab the Ziggy, and a whole bunch of chaos happens at that point.
Yeah, and then they make it to the tree.
The hanging tree where the witch was supposedly hanged.
Yeah, and then they start digging, and then they find a rock. I don't remember what the rock said, but essentially the remains were not here. Somebody did bury a rock underneath there, though. So they're not really sure what to do at this point. And then the preppy girl, her name's Cindy, you said?
The sister is Cindy, yeah. The black-haired one.
Cindy essentially tells Ziggy, you're the one who touched the bones, and, you're bleeding. They're after you. And, try to run, I'll buy you some time. And so
did not go well.
Ziggy starts to run, and Cindy does hit Tommy once, one good shot to the head, the now reattached head with the shovel, and then she took Then she took like 5 axes to the chest.
Well, no. She hit him in the face with the shovel. He hit her in the face with the axe. She went down immediately, like with the brunt side of the axe. Got like knocked dazed on her ass, and then after that, she turns around right as he's about to axe her sister in the chest. She yells. The other sister yells no. So like you want to call her Sadie. Sadie's her name in real life. But Ziggy turns around and sees her sister about to get axed. Yells no. Then she gets shanked by the milkman.
Yeah.
She gets shanked by the milkman, and then fucking
she gets stabbed
Tommy Tommy's going to town with that axe
4 times, and then Tommy fucking plunges this axe in Cindy's chest like 5,
He's giving
6 times.
chest compressions with the axe. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how that works.
This whole time, like that whole movie, me and Rob thought Cindy was the character telling the story. We thought that was the Berman telling the story. And then when that happened, we were like, there's no way in hell she survived 5 axes to the chest.
Yeah, I think that you're supposed to think that it's Cindy because they never say. Because even when they you find out that the lady telling the story is Ziggy, even the character's like, wait, you're Ziggy?
Yeah. But essentially, once she dies, all of the things vanished.
And then
the
sheriff comes to
future
give chest
sheriff
compression.
boy, comes in, starts doing chest compressions, and revives
Which,
Ziggy.
I mean, looking back at the movie, I feel like that's what he was just trying to do. What the other guy was trying to do with the axe. He was just trying to give chest compressions. That's why he kept hitting her over and over again.
Well, I
But
mean, he doesn't know how chest compressions work.
He also couldn't put the axe down, so he's cursed to give chest compressions wherever he goes. But he also is cursed to hold his axe wherever he goes.
Yeah.
That would be a really funny story if that's like what it was. He just had a cursed hand. He couldn't let go of the axe, but he's also like cursed and has to give chest compression wherever he goes. He becomes an axe murderer.
It'd be like trying to get chest compressions from Edward Scissorhands.
Yep.
It'd be like, nah, man, get away from me. Just let me die. Just let me go. Just let me go. It'll be far less painful for me. But yeah, so then we find out that the Berman telling the story was Ziggy the whole time, and then it kind of ends there, but then we get the preview of the next one, which happens in 1666, and this one looks like it's all about...
Well, no, they did the whole thing where they said they convinced her that they knew where the body was, that they had found the body.
Yeah.
In the chains, and she's like, no, it's not possible. And they're like, yeah, all we need is the hand. And they're like, is it still buried by the tree? And she just gives them a look.
Yeah,
they're like, what happened to the camp? And it turns out that the mall from the beginning of the first movie, they paved over the camp and made the mall there.
Yeah.
So the hanging tree is in the middle of the mall, like in an arboretum. So they dig up and they find the hand there inside the mall.
Yeah.
And then she and the brother bring it to the body, and she tells the brother to stay in the car. And she puts the hand on the body, and as soon as she does, like, she's basically transported into the past and takes the place of the witch, and then that's where they cut it off.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's her inhabiting the body of the witch.
Yeah.
To maybe further know the witch's story, essentially. I'm gonna, at this point, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel right now. Like, if the witch ends up being, like, a quote-unquote good person because of all, like, bad things done to her or whatever, I feel like that's a typical witch trope. And I don't know if I'll be happy with that.
I mean, regardless if she was a good person before she was murdered, she's not one now. So...
Well, I don't know.
Forcing a bunch of innocent people to become murderers is not a thing good people do.
Well, I guess so.
You guess so?
Listen.
I'm listening.
No. Anyway, that was Fear Street Part 2. Can't wait for Fear Street Part 3.
Well, Webby, I asked Rob this for, I think you got on, and my question is to you. Did you like Part 2 more than Part 1? I know I did. I feel like they definitely fixed the music in Part 2 as opposed to Part 1, where they just played like 5 seconds of every clip.
Every time Carry On My Wayward Son came on, I was like, this really is like a supernatural episode.
Yep.
I don't know. I guess so. I have a feeling I might end up liking Part 3 the most. But I think I do like Part 2 more than Part 1. They do a little bit more explanation as far as why things are happening. And like, it fills in quite a few blanks. It shows you it shows you at least the history of where, the axe wielder with the burlap sack over his head came from.
Yep. And also, I feel like they have just the characters are better developed in this one overall, even though they don't get as much individual like screen time, but I do feel like they're better developed overall as compared to the first one.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, I might end up liking Part 3 the most.
Part 3 comes out the 16th. Yep, Friday.
Yeah.
The day this comes out, Part 3 is out. So if you're listening to this and you haven't seen Part 1, you can watch Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. You can binge them all.
Binge them all.
Like Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all. Right? That's a Pokemon thing? See, look at that.
Yep.
I got it right.
I'm proud of you, Webby.
Listen, Rob, just like that nurse said, sometimes you can kill people for good reasons.
Killed a bunch of children. I know you hate children, but no.
Listen, what if those children were destined to grow up to become serial killers?
She's making people into serial killers.
Yeah, to stop other serial killers. She's. I'm just saying. It might. We don't know her. We don't know her life.
Not yet, anyway.
I'm not going to argue with you guys anymore. The witch is great. She's the lead. She's the best.
Hey,
character.
whoa! I'm not even. I'm not
Whoa,
even. I'm not
whoa.
even with Webby on this
No.
one. I don't
Whoa,
necessarily
whoa,
think
whoa.
she's good.
Yeah,
Whoa,
I don't
whoa,
even.
you
I
just
don't
said
even
the
know
witch
she's
is the
good.
best character. You just said she was.
No, I said that I hope she is.
Uh,
Oh no!
I don't
I said that if
agree
they
with
make
the
her,
witch being the
if
best
they make
character.
her a good person who turned evil and did all this, that's the typical witch's trope. I hope that's not the case.
but
That's
then
what
you
I
were just
said.
arguing that her being a murderer is a good thing. So no matter what,
Webby
she's
just.
going to be a good
Well, that's
person.
what the nurse said.
Webby just likes other people in pain. Webby just likes. He just wants to see the pain spread around. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's
Look,
why he. That's why
I'm
he
just-
chokes you out, Rob. Because he loves you.
I'm just gonna start rooting for the witch at this point.
Don't do that. I mean, you root for Jason. I mean, he roots for Jason in all the killers and all the horror movies, except for Freddy. Only
Except for
movie he
Freddy, I
doesn't-
want to see Freddy get offed. Finally, someone walks into the dream world and realizes that they're in Freddy's dream and can whoop the shit out of Freddy in his own dream world. That's the movie I'd watch. Anyway. Alright. Well, that was our episode. I am out of it.
Other than that, how you guys been?
Out of it.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with me today. I can't seem to wake up. My fucking throat hurts. It feels,
I
it
was
feels
in a
weird when I
conversation about-
swallow. Like, it feels like my tonsils are swollen, but I don't think they are.
I was in
It's-
kind of a similar boat earlier. I slept till like 2:00.
Rob made us lemon pancakes this morning.
Yep.
Lemon pancakes?
Yeah, apparently we didn't have vanilla extract, so we had lemon extract.
Hey, go for it.
He used
Was it
that.
good?
Yeah, they were
We had
pretty good.
lemon and orange, and I was like, I guess lemon.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty good. Found out Rob thinks I'm weird because I put my maple syrup in the fridge.
I was like, it's cold syrup on hot pancakes. Why?
Just, I don't know. Always have. Always done it. Anyway, do we have a science corner with Rob this week?
Yes, you asked me about if you could make werewolves with gene splicing. The answer is not yet,
Damn it.
but maybe in the future. I mean, I was reading about it. I guess it's kind of doable, but the thing is, most countries have banned it, kind of thing. But messing with the human DNA, because like that's the whole thing about a couple of years ago where they talked about making designer babies and all that, because you could like change their genes, and like there's big questions about whether it's ethical. And they were talking about how splicing different animal DNA with human was possible, but no one had tried it because it's like banned basically. But so like it wouldn't be full werewolves, at least not yet. It would just be like, oh, okay, well now you have this wolfish trait sort of thing. But maybe somewhere down the line you could have werewolves. But the same technology is what made the COVID vaccine, the CRISPR thing that they're using to now try to fight cancer and stuff. It came from basically gene modifying viruses, so it's the same kind of deal.
So by the time we are able to get werewolves, we're just going to end up getting a zombie apocalypse instead.
Maybe.
It's it's exactly one or the other. There is no in between.
That's right.
Like most things in life, it's one or the other. There is no in between. It's do or do not. There is no try.
So it could be possible, but it is against the quote-unquote law. / banned.
Well, it's not possible yet. Like it would take research, but the research is banned. So
Yeah, I bet you it's
I
not
think it's
banned
against
everywhere.
international law too.
It's
even
not
just against,
banned
like, law.
everywhere, I bet.
It's against international law, not just like regular law.
yeah,
Yeah, you think that's going to stop governments?
No, of course not.
Hell no.
But
We're going to have
That's
a
not-
werewolf army eventually.
that's a whole different episode, though.
Yep. All right. Well, I mean, that's exciting. Now, okay, if you guys could undergo a procedure and have your genes spliced with an animal, what animal would you want spliced and why? Let's start with Devin.
Logical point of view, I would say like gorilla, because I feel like the DNA is close enough where it wouldn't like completely alter me. But I feel like also being a gorilla could like having like that mobility and strength could be super useful.
All right. Yeah, being able to grab shit with your feet.
Yeah, I mean, but like also too, like yeah, like that, and just like the naturally enhanced strength, like the speed. I mean, it's not a bad. I think the DNA is close enough where it wouldn't be a big deal. But like then the other part of me is just like moose.
Just because?
Because moose.
What about you, Rob?
I don't know. I mean, it would depend on what it did for me. Like I was thinking some kind of bird, but I don't know that I'd really be able to fly. Probably not. So,
I mean, to be fair, Rob, the chicken is a bird and it cannot fly.
I know. But then why would I want to be spliced with a bird if I couldn't fly? Like that's the thing. It depends on what the combination did, I guess.
Emu. I is the fastest chicken. Chicken emu.
Something with good eyesight and hearing.
You know what? Maybe. Well, yeah. An owl. But I was thinking maybe like starfish, because then they have that regeneration. Like, you basically could never be killed.
I mean, there you go. See, that works. See. Hey. See.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd want to be spliced with a bear, and even if the only thing I got out of it is if I got covered in fur like Beast from the X-Men.
Also, too, I mean, did you get that picture I sent you in Discord?
I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, yes, I did the turtle one.
The turtle picture?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool that we're, I guess, scientifically close, and it's like within the ballpark, but, you know, ethics and stuff hold us back from achieving these goals. I guess that's a whole nother question and a whole nother episode too, is just like the whole ethics behind it. Like, I don't know. If you have willing participants, I think that you should be able to do it. Granted, you can't ask the animal if they're willing, I suppose, but
they're gonna die.
yeah. All right, Devin, do we have a life advice with Devin before we wrap up?
A very simple, sweet life advice with Devin. If you don't know how, go learn how to do chest compressions. You could save a life.
With an axe.
Unless you have axes or scissors for hands, in which case you probably won't save lives.
Yeah.
But if you don't have any of that, go learn chest compressions, because you could save a life.
Very true. Does your job require you to be CPR certified?
I am CPR certified, yes, sir.
Yeah, I was when I worked at the machine shop. I haven't been recertified in years, but I was at one time certified.
Webby's like, I'm no longer certified. That means I can claim ignorance when I just drop an elbow off of like a oil barrel onto the guy who's choking on the ground.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. So yeah. All right, Rob, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Confessor_X and on Twitch at twitch.tv/ConfessorX. And if you can time travel tonight, you can find me on Linstead DM on Twitch. doing being an old man. He's crazy.
You time traveling
True.
fucks.
That was 2 days ago. From your point
You
of view.
time traveling fucks, you.
Devin, where can people find you on the internet?
You guys can find me on the interwebs. You can find me on Twitter at DMP_Pookie, and you can find me on Twitch at Mr. D3. And as always, you can find me on eBay currently trying to sell my kidneys to help support my family.
Well, okay.
I know that got dark, but it is the dark times. So you can find me on eBay selling my kidneys at $45 a pop.
I was
First
born
one,
in
first served.
darkness. You
I was
maybe
born in
adopted
the
it.
darkness.
All right, and as always, everybody, thank you for listening. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Jax Forest Walker, all one word, on Twitch at DM Webby, and on eBay at buying Devin's kidneys so I can give them back to him. And thank you for listening. We love you, and fuck Booster Gold.
Fuck Booster Gold and Jebediah.
I got
Fuck
the right
Jebediah.
outro music this week.
Fuck you, Jebediah. You ain't taking my homestead.
What did Jebediah ever do to you?
Trying to take my homestead.
Oh. All right. Well, we can't let that happen. You like biscuits and mustard?
You see, back in the old country, we'd tie him up to a hitching post and walk him through town.
Covered in honey and fire ants.